This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody. We hope you enjoyed your holiday weekend and appreciate you joining us here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If your company's not showing up at the top of Google searches, maybe you don't even have an online presence. If your website doesn't convert to mobile, pixelfiremarketing.com can help out with all that. Check out pixelfire.com. PixelFireMarketing.com for more details today. Joining us inside the Pyramid Contractor Studios, Paul Potts with Over the Top Garage. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy.
What is Over the Top Garage? What are you guys doing?
Over the Top Garage is a garage service business. I mean, we will take care of anything from garage door repair, garage door opener, to installation of garage doors. We also work on anything in the garage. We will do storage racks, walling, as well as a type of flooring. So we're not an epoxy or polyspartic type of flooring business, but we do offer a vinyl flooring that will clean up the garage door. The garage floor.
Might clean up the door too, who knows? The container space, the storage space. This seems to be a new trend. I don't know if that's because Costco's putting out new style of bins every 5 days or what it may be. But are you guys seeing a giant uptick in that as far as the storage space goes and people asking you to do that as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, with limited space in the home and people want to have access to their storage, the best space is above in the ceiling these days. So since homes have been designed with bigger garages, you can only put it in one spot. So
Sure.
People are starting to put them up in storage racks. And so between the Costco bins, you can fit almost anything up there if you're willing to. And then now they have ones that actually will drop from the ceiling, so you don't actually have to climb up on a ladder.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. And is that something you guys specialize in?
Not necessarily on that part,
Okay.
but yeah, just hanging storage racks in general. But to me, it's if it can be mounted, we can do it.
I want to talk about the floor portion of it because you mentioned there's a ton of options out there, but I have to imagine in older homes, sometimes the floor just starts to crack. Is that usually the reason for needing to repair the floor, or is there usually damage? What do those calls look and sound like?
You know, I haven't had anything where we've dealt with any of those type of damaged floors. I mean, as long as we can grind and smooth things out, we can put this vinyl type of flooring on top of it and at least make it look nice. But when it comes to those types of flooring, if it's really bad shape, then, we will refer a concrete person out for that.
We've had a ton of flooring companies in here. Shout out to Steve and those guys at Floorco. We mentioned our mutual friend, Christian with Blue Jay Flooring. When we talk about vinyl flooring, it seems to be a trend right now that's on an upward tick. Is that just because it's so durable and reliable? Why do you guys choose to go with vinyl?
Yeah, because it is very durable. This type of flooring, and it's kind of like it's almost like a gym flooring with the one we use, but it's also impermeable to stains, water as well. And then it's just nice to have something that's a little softer on the feet in the garage, especially if you plan on working in it.
There's a ton of options out there for garage door. You guys put Torsen right on the front of your guys' website. Why is the Torsen system your guys' first go-to option, and why is it the right option for people to put in their homes?
Oh yeah, the torsion system is it's pretty much the standard all the way around. There used to be the stretch or extension springs on the side. Those become more inefficient as time goes on. They work in very small situations, but with the larger doors on houses these days, the torsion system is the most reliable system. So when something does break, it is safely on a torsion tube. And but when it comes to lifting the door, that is the best option.
Seems like most new houses are almost coming standard with a 3-door garage, specifically for our 3-car garage door, the further you go out west. How difficult is it for you guys to operate? Because I'm assuming, I don't install a garage door, so I should ask, I guess, first. Those are two different systems, right? There's a 2-bay door and then a single door by itself. Those are technically on 2 different systems, correct?
Actually, it's the same system.
Wow, okay. Does that make it easier or more difficult when we're working with multiple doors?
It depends on if the customer needs both doors attended to.
Sure.
But more than anything, it's the door that gets used the most is the one that gets the most attention most of the time. Because the double car is the is the front door to the house. And so you got, usually 2 cars in there that are going in and out during the day. You have kids that are using it on a regular basis. So it's the primary door. Single car doors usually kind of, if you don't have a nice old vehicle in there, usually you got the lawnmower, the kids' bikes, and everything else kind of stored off to the side. So it doesn't get used as much. But yeah, mostly they're the same unless you got, a kid that's going, that's in high school, not ready to drive, and they needed a place to park.
Probably ready to get them out of the house anyway. I saw this option on your guys' website. I went, where was this 10 years ago? My wife and I took our dogs for a walk. We left our keys in the house because we had the garage door. Big wind comes through, knocks our power out. Our garage door couldn't open. We had to call a locksmith. You guys offer a battery backup for garage doors. How popular is that option? And is it just as simple as, hey, you're eventually going to need it, so you might as well get a battery option as well?
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular. It's a nice way to, know you have something backing you up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So power goes out, you're not stuck outside. You can still open up the door without having to unlatch it. In a lot of the cases, if your springs are not tuned up, that door does become pretty heavy. So
fair enough.
You don't want to be lifting that if it has not gone serviced in a long time.
You guys offer maintenance on the battery as well. What does that look like, and how often are you guys maintaining those?
Really, the battery doesn't need maintenance. I mean, they may have a 5-year life on them.
Sure.
So, I mean, the opener itself will let you know when that battery is dead or it's not working anymore. So it's pretty much as simple as just replacing the battery out.
A lot of times cars come with built-in garage door openers in them now, the newer models. Do you guys program things like that, or is that something that has to be done separately at a dealership?
No, we can program those. Usually it's a home link system. You just pretty much clone the remote to the one that's in the mirror.
Oh, okay.
And from there, you program it like you would any other garage door opener.
What is the biggest hurdle that you guys face? Is it keeping up with the technology? Is it keeping up with the way homes are being built? When we're talking about maintaining the garage door, in that space, what's the biggest hurdle you guys face?
I say the biggest hurdle is getting people to stay on top of their regular maintenance. People will go years without maintaining the garage, and by the time they do need maintenance, something has broken. And so it's not just fixing one thing, it's
ripping the Band-Aid off and fixing everything.
Yeah, replacing a lot of those parts. And that we do offer that. It's like once the spring breaks, there's other parts in that system that have gone through that life cycle. So if it has a 10,000 cycle life, we want to go ahead and replace all those parts in the system while we're taking it all apart and putting it back together, so it's going to last well for another 10 years, opposed to us coming back in a couple of years trying to address another small issue, and it just compounds itself.
What's something people can do to maintain their system?
As simple as just unlatching the opener once a month, or at least 3 or 4 times a year. Check and see what the door balance feels like. If it feels heavy, we need to add tension to the springs. If it is starting to make a little bit too much noise, might need to address some other things, but lubrication is probably key. So just like a silicone lubricant, and then just spraying it on the anything that's metal on metal moving parts. So spray the springs down, there's a bearing, end bearings that are on the side. You don't necessarily need to spray the track, but the rollers, those need lubrication as well. So because those are the ones that are going up and down on the track. And sometimes even spraying a little bit of lube at the lift brackets where the cables are at the very bottom, because since we are in the Rust Belt with a lot of salt, that does work to the garage and starts causing a lot of rust, and you'll see a lot of garage doors that will cable will snap on them because they've have accumulated rust, and but cable is like a thread and it just snaps.
We're catching up with Paul Potts from Over the Top Garage here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. I mean, when we talk about the reason garage doors break, is it as simple as just they haven't been maintained? Is that usually the biggest problem?
Not necessarily. It's just wear and tear. Just like your vehicle, you get it maintenance on a regular basis, and if you don't change the oil.
Yes, you're supposed to get your vehicle maintained also. Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't get your brakes checked, you don't change your oil, you don't do all these, this maintenance. I mean, the entire house needs to be maintained just as much as your vehicle does.
Absolutely.
And if you disregard it, things are going to break.
Good news is if somebody's not maintaining it and their garage door breaks after hours, you guys offer after hour services too. Why is it such a big deal for you guys to be able to do business, not just during your typical 9 to 5, but in case of emergency as well?
Because most of the time people have lives. You have, you have doctors, you have moms, dads, you have emergencies, and you need to be able to get
Late
your
night
vehicle.
soccer practice.
Yeah. You want to be able to get out of your garage
Yeah.
and get to work the next day, or if there's, if you have an elderly parent that needs out for whatever reason,
Sure.
It's nice to have a good working door. And sometimes, you just don't know when that spring is going to break.
Over the Top Garage offers a free estimate as well. Why is it a big deal for you personally to be able to get in front of a homeowner? Excuse me, I'm sorry, and have that conversation to establish that relationship before they pay a dollar?
I think, being able to meet me and my team first and starting that relationship there is the most important. Free estimates, we can look at your door, tell you what's going on, and give you some information to work with. And, a lot of companies will charge you money to come out when we just want to, get out there and give you the information before we start working on it.
When we talk about online representation, Over the Top Garage has 50 Google reviews, and they're all 5 stars. What does that say about Over the Top Garage?
We are definitely over the top.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
We really achieved for customer satisfaction. And so if I have to go to a job multiple times over to make sure something's done right, I will do that. We will do a little bit of extra if we see it for the customer. We bring leaf blowers with us just to blow out the garage if it's a little dirty.
Sure.
Not only does it clean up some of the mess that we may leave, but also, if they haven't cleaned it out in a while, it's good
Helps
to maintain.
Yeah. You mentioned your team. One of the things we talk a lot about in this room is hiring people and releasing a little bit of control and bringing people in. How difficult has it been for you to be able to hire people and kind of take your hands off the wheel and let them take over your business?
Yeah. I'm pretty new at this. I just hired my first guy on back in late November, Gerson. And he lives
Shout out to Gerson.
Yeah, thanks, Gerson. And so he's out in Lincoln, and he's working on building that area up. And I've trusted him for many years prior to.
Okay.
So it's good to get to that point, but I haven't had to go find that next person yet. So I'm looking forward to see what that's going to become.
What does growth look like in the next 2 to 3 years then? Is that something you like to expand the team? You like to expand the business more? What does growth look like?
It's going to be a little bit of both. I would like to bring on a few more guys.
Sure.
That way I can offload my workload so I can, take care of, the bigger things. Still want to be out in the field because I really like working with my hands and keep moving and of course, talking with people.
Should do more podcasts.
Right. Continuing to develop the business because, I told you about those additional services we have, and we've touched on them, but we haven't gone full throttle on them like we have with the installation and repair side.
Is there anything that you guys don't offer right now that you'd like to add to the, for lack of a better term, menu for Over the Top Garage?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that yet. But right now, I think keeping it based in the garage area, I think that's going to be primarily the focus. We do offer commercial work as well. So I think between the two, we got plenty of work ahead of us. You
mentioned Omaha and Lincoln. There's this large body of water just a few miles to the east of us here. Do you guys do any work in Council Bluffs as well, or do you try to keep it on the Nebraska side of things?
So far, kept it on the Nebraska side of things. I'll get, some calls every so often in Council Bluffs, but it's not something that we're focused on. We're trying to just, being such a small team, focusing on our areas is I'd say the most important part right now.
What does the ideal client look like for you?
Anyone that has a garage.
That's a great answer. Sorry, did you want to add to
that? Yeah, when it comes to some of the other services, it's those that want to improve the garage as an additional living space. So that for those that want to, have people that hang out at graduation parties or have football parties, those are the people we want to be able to, go in there and help them enhance that garage space instead of it just being a place you park your car, somewhere you can actually hang out.
I think everybody thinks the garage, they think the male domain, kind of most people's man caves to some degree. You mentioned graduation parties. How often is a husband calling you versus a wife? And is there a difference in the dynamic when that happens?
Oh man, I'd say it's a good mix.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I would assume it was mainly the males, but probably the wife's sick of looking at it being so dirty and needing to get cleaned up, that floor fixed, right?
I mean, I think either way, when it comes to wanting to, especially when it comes to, say, garage doors, the wife sometimes usually be the one that's going to be at home.
Sure.
So I get the calls from that side of things. When it's the guy, it's, they're just looking at trying to find out what they can do next.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. If somebody's looking to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of Over the Top Garage?
You can get it anywhere from on Google. You can go to our website. You can submit a request.
The website is
overthetopgarageservice.com.
There you go.
And thank you. And
is there a phone number people can reach out?
Yeah, it's 402-218-6515. Best way to reach me. You can text me, give me a call, and usually we'll get right back to you if I'm not picking up the phone right away.
We've hit on a ton. Is there anything about Over the Top Garage Service we haven't mentioned that people should know about?
Oh, man. We're out here to do good work for you guys and be the best we can for Omaha and Lincoln.
If your garage door's starting to squeak like this chair is right now for some reason, I'm not sure why, but excuse me, you haven't had the maintenance done on it, or maybe you want to add some storage to your garage, get a hold of Paul and his team today. I appreciate you doing this, man. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That's Paul Potts with Over the Top Garage. This has been the Spotlight Omaha podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in the morning. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.